most deed of transfers I have seen, none of them has any provision as regards reversion, and it's not in the best interest of the buyer. This video is particularly for flat buyers and generally property buyers. It's actually very, very pertinent that the deed of assignment or the power of attorney or any other document of transfer of interest in land which you are paying for, or interest in property which you are paying for, is being reviewed by an expert. Take for instance, in a multi-story building, developed into apartment, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, as the case may be, and you acquire the flat, it's always good you bring the documents of transfer to us ever before you pay, so that we review it for you, because there is what we call reversion. Reversion has to do with the title in the land upon which that building is standing. Ordinarily, government grants right of occupancy for 99 years, and after 99 years, it is assumed it reverses back to the government. But in most cases, that is not the case. The holder of the right of occupancy or the certificate of occupancy will be expected to go and renew the right of occupancy or the certificate of occupancy for another 99 years or less, as the case may be. Most often, that you are not being checked out. I have made a video on this platform on whether C of O expires or not. Except government has interest in the land, they don't take it back from you. All you need to do is to administratively renew that right of occupancy, certificate of occupancy, for another length of years the government might deem fit, often 99 years. Once you are paying your ground rent and any other premium attached to the land, and the land is being used for the purpose it is being allocated, and there is no public interest demanding government to demand it from you, you keep on holding the right of occupancy over the property. And peradventure, if for any reason, for public interest purposes, the government is in need of the land, maybe a new layout, a new road, for any reason they want to acquire it for public interest, you shall be entitled to compensation. However, for people who are buying from the person who has the original right of occupancy from the government, and in the deed of assignment or in whatever deed used in transferring the interest to you, there is no clause that talks about what happens to your acquired interest in the property in case of, let's say, redevelopment. Out of age, the building is no longer fit to stand and it is considered a public risk to leave it still standing, and there is need for demolition and redevelopment. What happens to your rights? Or naturally out of age, the building collapses. Did you care to factor into the deed binding you and the landlord or the landowner or the seller your percentage interest in the land? Or will you belong to the group of people who own the flats but don't own the land? Being silent or keeping quiet over the reversion clause in the case of demolition, redevelopment, does not work in your interests. And I tell you, most sellers, most landlords, they will prefer to keep quiet over such a clause because it's going to work in their favor by the end of the day. But the best and prudent step for you is to include it in the deed of transfer. Reversion is a situation where, for instance, your interest is limited to the flat alone or the unit you bought, and once for any reason the unit goes for demolition or because of age, your interest extinguishes and the right over the land reverses back to the original land owner. I would advise again that before you part with your ₦1, before you pay that money, ask them to produce the draft of the deed of transfer or deed of assignment, deed of conveyance, as the case may be. When they draft it, you bring it, you forward it to us, or you consult us, or you book our one-on-one. We review it for you and make sure that your interest is balanced vis-a-vis the interest of the seller, so that you won't end up buying a flat without buying the land. It has happened. So many of the agreement, deed of transfer I have seen, they are always silent on this reversion clause. It has to be balanced. As you are acquiring part of the building, you're supposed to acquire a percentage permanent interest over the land. If there is redevelopment, if there is compensation for anything, your interest will be permanently protected. If you feel that, okay, for instance, okay, if I use it for 50 years, I think it's enough for me. What about the person you may be bequeathing it to tomorrow? And if you are a secondary buyer, you are buying from someone who has already bought, you have to open your eyes to know whether probably is a leasehold of probably 20 years, 30 years, 40 years the person is buying or the person bought without permanent interest in the land. So don't hesitate to book for our one-on-one and get smarter generally in your real estate investment. I would recommend this book, 7 Steps to Acquiring a Clean Property Title. It is more than 20 years of experience practicing property law, investigating property fraud and prosecuting property fraud that gave birth to this book. When you get it and apply each of those steps before you arrive at to the point of making payment for any property, you know that you are guaranteed of getting a very clean property title. And anybody you transact with, you talk with, will know that you're also talking from the point of knowledge. Don't fail to get the book. The link to order for your own copy of the book is in the description to this video. And if you're also trying to invest in Abuja and you don't know how land administration in Abuja is, this particular resource, FCDA guidelines for real estate development in Abuja, make sure you grab a copy. It's very important. It will put you on the lane of people who have been investing in FCT for the past 20 years. I remain Madrik Emwere. I am a real estate investment expert. I'm a property lawyer. I'm a chief superintendent of police. And by God's grace, the founder of this platform, Encumberedproperties.com. We are the only real estate fraud prevention platform. Don't fail to share this video so that others will see it and learn. And please, as well, subscribe to this channel now so that you will keep updated with information that will keep you ahead of real estate frauds. We love you and we care about the safety of your real estate investment. Thank you.